Hello everyone, Steve Wyss here, and I'm joined by Kevin Harper as ever, and this is the latest All Sports Betting Pod, Cricket ICC Champions Trophy match previews. Okay, day one, England beat Bangladesh fairly comfortably in the end. Shame he didn't quite manage to hit a winner yesterday, Kev, but some really good starts for outright bets there, especially Liam Plunkett with 4 wickets, which could be absolutely invaluable. Moving forward to the next game, and it's a big rivalry clash, Australia against New Zealand at Edgbaston. And I mean, on paper here, this is a really, really tasty encounter. What are you expecting from it, Kev?
Plenty of excitement, plenty of competition. Some really good cricket, Steve. Obviously, it's a repeat of the World Cup final, isn't it? They met twice in that World Cup, didn't they? They met once at Eden Park in Auckland, where New Zealand got home chasing 150 odd in last gasp style, and then they obviously met in the World Cup final, where once Brendan McCullum was out in the first over, New Zealand were never winning. So they do meet quite a lot, these two sides, so they're going to be sort of well known to each other. So it'll be interesting to see if someone's come up with a tactical difference, or if they just continue on their same merry way, really.
Now, I guess the first thing we've got to mention here is the weather forecast for the match, and it's not entirely going to be wall-to-wall sunshine, is it?
No, it's not. No, I mean, we're past the Watford gap, aren't we? So you can't be guaranteed sunshine then. Afternoon showers, I think, is the forecast. So hopefully they either come through in the break in the innings or save themselves until the game's over.
Yeah, I think it's one of those, if you're going to bet on the game, then, do have a look at that forecast and see if you're comfortable taking, certain markets or whatever. But, the forecast can be wrong, and they very often are wrong in this country, aren't they? So let's get down to business straight away. And your first pick for the game, it's going to be in Australia to win and also to hit the most sixes. Explain those ones to us.
I think they'll both win individually, Steve. But Australia are a little bit of and this will sound a bit silly, really, but Australia are a bit of a short price to back them just to win. And the only reason I say that is because of the rain. Obviously, if you back them to win, hit the most sixes, and rain comes in, then we'll be saved our bet. So, I've kind of decided to double the two up. If Australia bat first, and then the game shortened and New Zealand get an easy run chase, then we're not going to get scuppered by backing Australia at 1-2. The bet will be voided if overs are reduced. So I think throughout this whole group, Australia are going to hit an awful lot of sixes. Whether they hit more against England, I'm not sure, but I expect them to hit more in this game, and I expect them to hit more in the Bangladesh game. You just got to look at their top 6 for the reasons why. Warner, Finch, okay, we'll pass over Steve Smith, Travis Head, Glenn Maxwell, Chris Lynn. That's likely to be their top 6. I mean, take Smith out and the rest of them are natural hitters of the cricket ball. Even Matthew Wade at 7 and potentially John Hastings at 8. They can belt a long ball as well. You look at this New Zealand side, and really and truly, in terms of genuine out-and-out 6 hitters, apart from Martin Guptill, you have to wait until sort of 7 and 8 when Corey Anderson and Jimmy Neesham come into the reckoning for genuine power. And the game might be gone by then. So I do expect Australia to hit the most sixes. Generally, when these two meet, it is a theme that Australia hit the most sixes. And I see no reason why that won't continue. As I say, I don't really want to back Australia to win the game at 2s on with the weather forecast the way it is. And if there is a concern about them, it could be that they're slightly underdone. They've not played ODI cricket since they played in New Zealand. I think it was in February, and they didn't even send half their team to that because they were preparing for a test series in Australia. So they could be a little undercooked. But by and large, I mean, most of their players have been playing in the IPL, haven't they? So they've had some decent sort of white ball cricket behind them. I just think if you combine the two and we do get a 50 over game, I think it's the best way to play it, really. Australia should win a 50 over contest. I'm pretty confident they would win a 50 over contest. I'm equally as confident they'll hit the most sixes. It's double them up at odds against makes perfect sense, really.
Yeah, Australia to win the match and also to hit the most sixes. That's with William Hill, 11-10. And if there's even one over lost, then this is voided, isn't it, Kev?
Yeah, absolutely. Once overs start getting dropped off, the bet will be voided. So it's almost a surefire way of backing Australia, where you wouldn't have to worry about the toss of the coin.
Okay, second pick is going to be regarding Mitchell Starc, and now you've backed him outright for the tournament top Australia bowler, and one of the reasons for that was because he has a phenomenal record in this form of the game, and you think he's going to have a pretty good match today. You're quite happy to back his wickets line over 1.5 wickets, which seems pretty gettable for one of the top ODI bowlers in the world.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, he averages 2 wickets a game, so it's an average game for him, really. But he will up his game in the big matches. That's what the big players do. He's got a decent enough record against New Zealand. I think he's played 7 ODIs against them, and he's covered this line in 5 of them. One of the 2 that he didn't cover it in was in Sydney. Well, we can forgive him that. Sydney doesn't really suit pace bowlers. It's more about taking pace off the ball, spin, and that kind of thing. So, from that point of view, he's got form on his side. If there is a concern, it's obviously that he's coming back from injury and he's had a lack of cricket. But I think that's why we're getting the price that we are on him. And, more often than not, he will cover this. As I say, 5 out of the 7 times he's played New Zealand in ODI cricket, he's taken 2 or more wickets. These conditions should be suitable for him. If there's a little bit of cloud cover around as well to get the ball zigging and zagging, that will only help. I'm not convinced New Zealand's batsmen can handle the pace and the quality of Starc. So, yeah, over 1.5 wickets. Fairly obvious call, really.
Yeah, it does look rather obvious and quite manageable, I must say. Now, your final pick for the game, and we're going into sort of new territory here, really. Sky Bet have this request a bet section now, and I do believe William Hill are doing it. And we were just talking off air. I think this is probably something that's going to take off quite quickly amongst bookmakers. But in the request a bet section, they are offering both sides to score more than 299.5 runs at 15-8 here. So you're happy to back this one, and you think it's going to be quite a high scorer overall?
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind it's going to be a high-scoring match, Steve. I don't know what they did to the square at Edgbaston in the winter, but they seem to have dug it up grass-wise and gone and laid a concrete road in the middle of it, because the runs that have been on that ground this season have been quite incredible. We should just add, if this isn't a 50-over game, it's voided as well. So we've always almost got a free run on this too. But there's been plenty of one-day action at Edgbaston this season. Obviously, we've already had the group stages of the Royal London One Day Cup. Edgbaston hosted 4 matches in that. In the first game, Durham put up 313 in the first innings in a 39-over a side game. In the second game, 303 was put up by Nottinghamshire in the first innings. In the third game, 351 played 325. And in the third one, 281. Sorry, in the fourth one, 281 was chased down with overs to spare. So this is a high-scoring ground. If you needed any more evidence of that, you've only got to look at the 2 completed warm-up games on this ground for this competition. Bangladesh made 341 and lost. And Sri Lanka made 356 against New Zealand, and they lost. New Zealand made 359. As I say, they've gone and laid a concrete slab down the middle of this square by the looks of it, because batsmen are feasting. If England scoring 400 here a couple of years ago against New Zealand wasn't enough, that's certainly plenty of evidence that there's going to be plenty of runs in this wicket in this competition. And that price is silly, really. The first innings, I'm pretty confident will go above 300. It's just whether the chasing side can get there. We saw on Thursday just how inadequate 300 is in the modern world. And we've seen these two sides produce scores of 300 against each other quite regularly. When they met in Australia just after Christmas, 350, 360, 370 were the kind of scores that were getting put up. I wouldn't be surprised if we get that again. As I say, last time New Zealand played a competitive game on this ground, England spanked them for 400. So, their bowlers are going to have bad memories, but they're going to pack their batting. It could well be that Colin de Grandhomme's down on their batting lineup at number 9 here, when you think in the IPL he was opening the batting at certain times. So they're going to have absolute shed loads of batting. I can't see a 50 over game taking place here where both sides don't score 300. That 15-8 is all wrong. And whoever requested that bet, if I'm collecting on that on Friday evening, may I thank you long in advance.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one, this request of bet, and you're right. These days, you need 350 in a 50 over game. Unfortunately, it's a completely unfair situation where the bat is just far stronger than the ball these days. I don't know what the authorities can do about it to change the laws to make it a more even contest, but that is the world we're living in right now. Is this one concern though with this bet, that maybe with very cloudy conditions forecast, could it do a bit for the bowlers? Atmospheric conditions, could wickets tumble?
I mean, it could do, but if there's cloud, there'll be rain. If cloud's going to threaten the game, there'll be rainy clouds looking at the forecast. So we're either going to get a bet or we're not going to get a bet. We're either going to get a match or we're not going to get a match. So I'm pretty comfortable either way. And both sides have got enough batting depth that even if they lose a couple of wickets up top, that they can keep on going. Like you just said, bat will dominate the ball. There'll be nothing in the wicket that will help the bowlers. There might be a little bit of swing, but when was the last time a white ball swung in England? Long, long time ago.
Just out of interest, do you happen to know how much time there is to play with here? If there are any delays, or do we immediately lose overs?
No, I believe it's an hour in this competition. It's usually an hour in day games and half an hour in night games. So I think it's an hour.
So yeah, you could probably survive the odd sharp shower, and it would still go 50 overs. So yeah, well worth considering that bet. Request a bet. 299 runs, 200 over 299.5 runs. Both teams will score that amount. So that's at 15-8, along with Mitchell Stark over 1.5 wickets, and Australia to win the match, along with hitting the most sixes. There's 3 picks there for the game. Great analysis of the match, Kev, as ever. Best of luck with those, and we'll be back for Saturday's match. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely, Steve. Yeah, 2 sides familiar to each other. South Africa and Sri Lanka met in a series down in South Africa over Christmas. So we've got plenty of recent form to get stuck into in that one. The opening game in Group B, and should be another great one. Hopefully it follows a winning day for us in the Anzac game.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, best of luck with those, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Cheers, Steve. Take care.